Oh yeah, Sexy Biscuits. Nice.
Longboard Blues, 1975. Using girls on the rise. Reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends used to bug you. Longboard Blues, 1975.
Hey YouTube, Lawn Boys Post 1975, and welcome to the weekly vlog, or specifically another nostalgic memories of videos. Excuse me. Yeah, quickly before I forget, yeah, that's a piss poor start to a vlog, even by my standards. Before I forget, I have created a playlist for these videos. It seemed to be better that they wouldn't just go with my vlog in questions playlist. I've given them their own playlist, nostalgic memories of, because I'm well, if you watch this channel, you've probably realised I'm an extremely nostalgic person, and I really enjoy doing these videos. And so I thought, do you know what? Got to give them their own playlist. So if you're new to this channel, or you didn't realise that this was a regular thing, you can find all the other videos in this playlist, nostalgic memories of, and I'll be adding a few others there from time to time as soon as I troll through my back catalogue of videos, because this is a sort of vein of video that I've been doing for years, but until recently, I don't know why, I never thought to give it that nostalgic memories of title. So yeah, the playlist, nostalgic memories of, stuff in there, loads and loads and loads and loads of stuff. Excuse me, I'm on the R. White's Cloudy Lemonade. This stuff is the fucking tits. It's tasty and delicious. Anyway, what is this video about? Nostalgic memories of recording the charts on a Sunday evening. The day, you know, before you go back to school. There was that became an institution of the evening before going back to school, of, you know, recording the charts. I understand that this is a very, very specific, I guess, UK thing I'm talking about in this vlog, and also very specific to people, I guess, of my age. And yeah, it's funny because, I mean, the way we consume music now is completely and utterly different. Everything is on demand, digital, in a shop, online shop, that is. You don't necessarily, there are probably people whose entire collection of music is digital. They don't have a physical collection of music. And this is kind of inspired when I was on Alan from Mainmeister's Friday Live Waffle a couple of weeks ago, and with a little tangent towards the end of the video, talking about you know, one of the videos in this thread I do, you know, nostalgic memories of caravan holidays as a kid, and we were talking about, you know, kids don't know what mixtapes are now. Oh, you kids! I'm gonna make myself sound so old in this. And I brought up that the way people consume music is entirely different now. It's a completely sort of individual, personal thing. You don't go places and hear other people's music like you did when I'm our lad. It's headphones, plugged in, phone, you know, everything is. The last place you probably hear someone else's taste in music would be in their car, because obviously you don't listen to your car stereo with headphones. Maybe you can, but pretty sure that would probably be illegal. And so it got me thinking about how I consume music, how I got music initially before I would buy sort of cassettes. Yeah, cassettes, man, that was the first place I bought cassettes before I bought vinyl. Probably because, you know, the access to the equipment you had back then. I had for one of my birthdays, I got a personal stereo, you know, with play, stop, and fast forward. Oh, those were the days. That was it. I don't even know if it was a branded one, because back then, this is like when I was, I don't know, the primary school. I must have been like, I don't know, 8, 9. Probably 8, 7, something like that. And but personal stereos back then were still a big, expensive thing. And obviously, as a twin, my brother got a radio cassette player. You know, like the little ones you used to see builders take out onto, you know, their site and stuff like that. And so obviously buying those two things, having a kids, 2 birthdays one day, gets expensive, I would imagine, back then when I was a lad. But I think when I first started recording the charts, I was definitely at primary school. Now, who remembers the music centre when you had that big thing, like, you know, from the floor up to here, had a radio, a record deck on the top. I'll learn to talk in a minute. Then you had a radio was obviously built into it. Then you had everything was big analog knobs with like weights and stuff. It was brilliant. You had a graphic equalizer. You had various inputs, and the bottom of it was for you to stick all your records in. They were great and had a glass door that you would shut. And we had an Amstrad one. And because there were 3 of us, and we all used to do this, and all my mates used to do it. And it's funny, you watch nostalgic programs on TV when you interview a whole bunch of famous people talking about back in the day, and they used to do it as well. But because there were 3 of us, and we used to tape the charts, we had to rotate them. Again, I'll learn to talk in a minute. My parents would make us, one each week, so I'd only get to record the charts once every 3 weeks. Now, as I said, this is a very specific British thing and very specific to your age. But the chart show was basically on BBC Radio 1. I think it was BBC Radio 1. On a Sunday evening, I don't know, about 7, 8 o'clock, and they would do the top 40 that would be compiled that week by, was it Gallup? I think it was something like that, from all the sales from various places like Boots, Woolworths and stuff like that. Physical sales again. And they wouldn't play every single, song in there, or top 40, because the show would be like 9 hours long. That's an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. So some would just have short clips, others would be full songs. And because this thing had 2 cassette decks, you used to go out and you used to send tape years and years and years. You'd go out to Boots, I always got mine from Boots, and you'd buy a pack of C60s or C90s. Slight random tangent I want to say here, because allegedly, recording or tape-to-taping games on your parents' hi-fi centre. Well, why did Boots sell tapes that were C15s, which were 7.5 minutes each side? That tape could only exist for software piracy, couldn't it? I mean, obviously you didn't think that. Well, you didn't even think you were doing anything wrong as a kid. I still don't really think you did anything wrong, but hey, I was a kid. But it's funny, we forget that. I'll get off this tangent in a moment. But it is exactly the same as pirating games now. But for some reason, we look upon it with nostalgia because we did it with cassettes on our dad's music player. Anyway, so yeah, you would go and buy these cassettes, and then you put them in, and then you wait for the chart show, and then you press play and pause like you did, and then you would wait for the song you want, and you'd listen to it. You'd just zone right in and listen to the presenter come up to it as they counted it down, and then you would just go boom and hit it. And if you were particularly good, really ninja reflexes good, you could pause it as the end of the song finished, that came up, perfectly pause it or stop it, so you wouldn't get the presenter's voice on it. And if you did that, you felt this huge achievement, like you've done something truly special, because you got a song perfectly without the bloke talking over it whatsoever. But then there would be ones when they would come in really, really early, and it would really piss you off. And I don't know if it was me being overly anal or stuff like that. You would, I'd record over those. I don't want it with someone talking over it, regardless of how long the song was. And then depending upon how long that song stayed in the charts, or how many times they would play it each week live, would determine whether or not it would actually come back in its entirety. And you get a second pop, it recording it without the DJ talking over the end of the song. And you got to remember, right, because I was I don't know, what was I, 7 I guess, or 8 when I used to record these to put on my personal stereo. And yeah, it was I don't even realise that buying, I mean kind of it was there because there would be pop shows every week, like Top of the Pops, and that's what I thought it was. That's what I thought music was. I didn't think music, because you've got to remember I'm really young, was something that you would go out and buy, and these statistics would be compiled, which would then determine what songs would be in the top 40. I just kind of assumed that it was this thing on TV every Thursday night, Top of the Pops, or everyone lip synced. Who remembers when Nirvana were on Top of the Pops and refused to lip sync, so they just went like that and like that, didn't they? In front of musicians, instruments and musicians, just to blatantly drive home that it was lip sync. You were playing to a track, not actually playing live music. But yeah, that, and then the chart show on a Sunday on the radio. This is what I thought music was. So I don't think I actually bought my first record or cassette. And truly appreciated going to Woolworths, because that would be where you could buy the top 40 singles. Singles must be a thing still, because there's a chart, but can you physically still buy a single? Was that because you would buy I know you can buy the album, obviously, but is it even worth them releasing a CD of singles anymore? I mean, do people just download it? I really don't know. I'm really out of it. I mean, the charts, let's be honest, once you grow a brain and a taste of music, you leave the charts behind years and years, you know, until you're first getting into music, because music is your, I don't know, it's your bragging rights, your song rights, you're showing people I'm fucking cool because I like this. But yeah, so I mean, I think probably the first record would have been when I was about 10. That sounds late, I know, but because up to that point I didn't really truly appreciate it or understand it, and it was this thing that I would record every Sunday evening off the radio. I don't even know. There must still be a chart show. This is what I mean. I'm so out of it, out of the loop. That's why I have this nostalgic memory of it, because it was all about sitting for, I think it was 2 hours chart show, sitting through it and recording everyone you want, and it would tell you whether it was stationary, or it dropped places, or it gained places, or whether it was came back into the top 40, haven't completely gone out, because that happens, doesn't it? Especially now with this is funny thing about digital music, which is you can buy any song, and then when something sad happens, such as a famous musician dies, or a song of theirs is used in a movie or something, it means these people's songs that were released in the charts sometimes like 40-50 years ago, even more than that, suddenly get a resurgence because of digital sales and come back into the charts. That was, through hard media when I was a kid, that was, impossible. Unless something was re-released. But so you would sit there and they'd start off from 40 and they'd go all the way up to the top 10, and the top 10 would be played in its entirety, and they would be the holy grail ones to absolutely get perfectly without someone talking over it. Then eventually I think it was requested because someone worked out that kids taping the chart show every Sunday was costing people sales, because if you could do it perfectly, or you always knew someone at school who managed to bag a song perfectly, so you would borrow their tape and then you tape to tape that tape. So I can kind of see it probably would. I'm weird thinking that taping the charts every Sunday was costing music companies money. Wow, hasn't piracy come a far way? But yeah, so I'm sure there was some prerequisite where they were forced to deliberately come in early or talk over the top, bleed into the song to make it so people taping it to get a perfect version was impossible. I mean, many people probably didn't give a shit that you would have, like, was it Mike Reed? He was one of the DJs, wasn't he? Have him talking over a song. They probably didn't care, but even as a kid, I was OCD about that. I don't want to know. I want a perfect rendition of that song. And so that was it. That was a religious, when I could get on, or when it was my turn to jump on the hi-fi, recording the charts on a Sunday evening, before school, going back to school, or going to bed early because you had to go back to school. That was a religion, wasn't it? It was. And like I said, I knew all our mates used to do it. And then, I mean, it was, our music player was in the front hall then, and that room didn't have heating. And bearing in mind, this is like the early 80s, up to about 83, 84, I guess. So I don't even think we had, this is making me sound so old, we even had central heating. So certain rooms didn't have heat, and so on a winter you'd sit there wrapped up, sat in front of the music centre with your headphones plugged in, and you tape and you pause and record, ready to rumble, and you'd be sat there in the cold completely. It was kind of almost a lonely experience because you were completely isolated. Everyone else was in a different room in the house with heat, and you were sat there wearing a jacket in the front hall on a cold wooden floor. Didn't dawn on me to put a cushion down then because I was a fucking idiot. Taping the charts, and you would fill up. It sounds crazy now, doesn't it? You would fill up a C16 and a C90 tape, and if you were really good, you could fill up a C60 in one episode of the chart show. And to put it into perspective, the songs I remember, this is weird, I remember recording often, this sounds even worse because some of these were charity ones, and this is the era of me recording it, was Do They Know It's Christmas by Band Aid. Who remembers that? The first time, not the second time, and then there was a third time, wasn't there, a few years ago? But no, the original, I remember recording that, the original one. I remember recording stuff like Bananarama, oh my god, Rick Astley, Kylie, Don't Judge Me, I'm friggin' 8 or something. The first, you know, for Kylie when she was first out on Stockade and Waterman, and because it was a chart show, so you know, it was a mixed bag of everything. So it's weird, you know, that I would develop the taste of music I have now from, you know, a few years after that, when was never exposed to heavy metal. I mean, every now and then, like such big bands like Iron Maiden would make it into the chart show because they were a British institution. So even though they were heavy metal, because everyone knew they were and they'd been going for so long, then, not even now, they would make it. And they would make it, considering the sort of middle of the road pop shite that was in the charts then, never mind now, the fact that they would make it often into the top 10 was insane. So how on earth did I develop a taste? I'm trying to think where else I would have been exposed to it when I was like 8 years old, for that to ultimately, and you know, rock music and stuff like that, to become my mainstream taste in music. But yeah, it was weird. I'm trying to think some of the other ones that kind of aged me, like carbon date me, by the songs that I recorded off the chart show. The Chicken song by Spitting Image. Who remembers that? If you're young, go on YouTube and type in the it was the Chicken song, wasn't it, by Spitting Image? Spitting Image, for those who aren't in the UK, was a satirical political comedy show using latex, grossly exaggerated puppets of not just politicians, the royal family, but famous people and stuff like that. And then one year they released a song called I'm sure it was a Chicken song. I remember recording that. I remember, was it The Voice by John Farnham? Is it? These are the songs. And St. Elmo's Fire. I remember St. Elmo's Fire. And the weird thing about that, again, because this was my exposure to music at a really young age, I never even knew St. Elmo's Fire was a movie. To me, it was just a song. Weird, absolutely weird and crazy. And obviously, and things like that. And then there was Wham! recording Wham! Off the chart show. And I'd have a whole box of these tapes. And when I filled it up, I would write a rough sort of description on it. I never date or time it because I didn't necessarily always fill one up in one individual chart show. And obviously you would have to wait sometimes months for it to be a completely different, all new episode, music-wise, of the chart show. So I never specifically timestamped it like that. I just gave it a really inaccurate description. And in one of those plastic vinyl cassette boxes with the little lock on the front, I think you could hold something like, mine could only hold like 10 cassettes. 10 cassettes at C60s and 90s. That was my music collection. Unbelievable. I built up a music collection and essentially shaped my taste to some degree by recording stuff off the radio and not from buying it. That is insane. That is insane. Like I said, it was a religion and it was something that, you know, people my age always did. But I wonder how many of you, you know, roughly my age or maybe even younger, but still remember. I mean, obviously this is going to be pre-CD really, cassette, the time of cassettes, because that was, you know, obviously you couldn't record on CD then. I remember being told what a CD burner was, and it absolutely blowing my mind. I don't know. I don't think I ever thought that somewhere else, obviously, they had machines that could do it. How did you think music got on a bloody CD, Dave? Still remember my first CD player. I bought it in 1991, and it was a single deck boombox, that phrase, with a CD on top, and it came with one free CD, and it was the Paula Abdul album. That was my first CD. In my defence, I didn't pick that; it came with it. So it was the only CD I had, so I listened to it. But that aside, yeah, you know, recording stuff off, you know, tapes and that like that. This old school analog form of technology. I mean, it does make me, hence this video, feel really, really nostalgic and old. But aren't they the same thing and a good thing? And yeah, I don't know. It was exciting. It was fun. Like I said, if you could get the song perfectly, and then there'd be that week, even if it was a new entry, they wouldn't even play the bloody song you've been specifically after. And then sometimes weeks later, they still haven't played its entirety. So there would always be the holy grail of track you could never actually get a true chance to record. And that's what made it fun and special. And it was, as much as it was about getting the songs you wanted so you could join them, you know, enjoy them, listening to them, as in that's what they were for, music. It was a really fun, exciting thing to do, knowing that if you could get it. And yeah, sat there for 2 hours on a cold wooden floor in a room without heating. on a Sunday evening. I mean, it really was simpler times. Again, as I said, the inspiration of this video, how far we've come and how we consume and purchase music. And I mean, I'm not even consuming it, or sorry, purchasing it the way I did it then, but this is how I got the initial music I listened to. So, I mean, how many of you did this? Do you have any specific memories? Do you have any specific songs that you can remember that you basically taped off the radio or taped off the chart show on BBC Radio 1, I'm assuming it was BBC Radio 1, on a Sunday evening? I would love to know, because I really do have such strong memories of doing it myself. And yeah, and as I said, you can expect plenty more of these types of videos because I love doing them. And they will go in this playlist now. But as always, I would love to know what you think. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.